NXT returns to Fort Pierce. We love Fort Pierce on Friday, December 16th at the Havard L. Fenn Center. Always a good time when the established NXT superstars and newer talent mix and match on the live event house shows. And one of those newer talents is Miami's own Valerie Loureda. And this is so cool because the taekwondo master and former Bellator MMA fighter is now transitioning to the world of professional wrestling, sports entertainment style, WWE. And she's in NXT. And the big news this week is she has a name. She has an NXT name. Lola Vice, welcome. Tell us about coming up with the name. I got my Miami Vice theme going because I saw the colors, but you talk about it.
Yes. So Lola Vice, this is actually my first interview releasing my name. And Lola came out because when my sisters and I were little, we had like a lady that used to do our makeup, like a Cuban lady. And like that was always our alter ego name, Lola. So when I was coming up with names and they were coming up too, I was like, oh, let me just throw that in there. Like I liked it. But then I always had a vision of Miami Vice because I am the first Cuban American woman and I was born and raised in Miami. And I just feel like that's me and I need to represent. I'm like, how can I do this? I incorporate it into my name. And I thought about Miami Vice, a series from the 80s. And I was like, how about Lola Vice? But actually, I gave them 10 first names, 10 last names, and Shawn Michaels chose Lola Vice. And it's just beautiful. It goes, and I feel like this is my new era.
Hey, was that difficult, though, coming up with that many names? Or no, you had so many different ideas for this and for you.
Yeah, you know how I am. I always like think very ahead. Another option I had was Estrella. Estrella means star in Spanish. I liked that too, but something about Lola, I thought it was cute. It was a little Latina, also very easy for other people to pronounce. And I had to get in the ring and say, can I be Lola for the rest of my career? I'm like, yes, I can. So I'm just glad they chose that for me. And now we're in the works to hopefully debut soon. So it's just all super exciting.
What kind of response did you get? I saw some of the response on your Twitter, but what kind of response did you get from fans and all about the new name?
So actually, Twitter messed this up for me because since I'm verified on all my accounts, since I'm verified through Valerie Loureda, actually they have to switch my handles. So I remember I woke up like 2 days ago and it said Lola Vice WWE. I'm like, and I had tweeted and I didn't know they had changed my name already. So then it came out and people started talking about it because I had given hints. Like I dressed as Lola Bunny for like a Rumble match we had just to give hints, and I put Lola with winky faces. And obviously they knew I was dressing up as a character, but I had already known that that was my name. But yeah, so Twitter ruined it for me. And then I was like, okay, I'm just going to release it on my Instagram and soon they're going to change that handle. But yeah, the fans' reactions, I was a little nervous because everyone's like, you should keep your name, you should keep your name. But the way I think about it is that Valerie Loureda is the fighter that has been fighting since she's 3 years old. And she made this whole career very young. And then Lola Vice is the entertainer that Valerie always wanted to be. And I just think that having this new name gives me more of a character and it allows me to really play this part, the Miami girl, the Cuban girl, the Latina in the WWE. And it just fits really well.
And it is who you are, but I agree with that because it's nice to come up with that persona, the character name. It's like the alter ego for you. It's still you, but it's not Valerie from Taekwondo or Valerie from Bellator. Now this is NXT Superstar, and I'm glad. I mean, if you would have kept your name, fine too. But I'm just glad you're able to do that. And then the ring gear too. Tell us about the ring gear. And I know the colors, but tell us about the coloring. Why the coloring? And did you have someone design that for you?
Yes. So actually, I had an original gear before I became Lola Vice because, I think 3 steps ahead and I was nowhere near ready to have a match, but I already had gear inspo because I just know if I put in the work, like I'm going to get there. But my original gear was light pink. And then when Lola Vice came out and Shawn Michaels gave me the okay and the WWE stuck with it, I was like, okay, no, my whole thing now is Miami Vice. That is who Lola Vice is. She's a first generation Cuban girl born and raised in Miami, and this is the character. So my colors from now on are going to be that pink and the blue. I'm going to change it up. Maybe I'll do some white and black with the pink and blue, but Lola Vice is Miami Vice.
Well, I know you mentioned Twitter and sort of like messing things up a little bit. Come on, Elon Musk, get with the program. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Lola, we can get this. So, but hey, it's going to be so cool. I'm hopeful. Now, we know that in Cocoa Beach, Florida, you had your first promo. And then recently, you were in a 6-person tag for your first match in front of a crowd in Orlando. Hopefully, December 16th at the Haverdale Fence Center in Fort Pierce, which is closer to Miami, we might get to see you. What would it mean to you to be able to wrestle at that show?
You know, it would just mean a lot to me because I feel like, Jim, so my last fight was November of last year, so it's been 1 year. And in that moment, I didn't know that was going to be my last MMA fight. And I've been 1 year without fighting in the cage or wrestling because I've been really working hard in this transition. I got here in July. My trial was in May, I believe. And, it's been really just a waiting and patience game. I don't have the most patience, but this new industry has taught me to be patient because I've learned so much. I've completely transformed as a wrestler. Like, this is very hard. But I think for me to wrestle and have a match that day will really just show how much I've been working and allow the fans to see some type of progress with me because I've been really like in a transition period, which is a very hard thing to do. But I'm being patient with myself. I'm believing in myself. And I know that when my time comes, it will be the right time and the world will see the superstar that I truly am.
The WWE Performance Center is incredible. Great facility. You do the Tuesday shows there, 8 p.m. on USA Network, NXT. Talk about the training, the coaching, and the footwork.
Yes. So in a fighter perspective, before I came into the WWE, obviously I admired it, but at the same time, I'm like, how hard could it really be, right? You really don't know until you get here and you realize that this is extremely difficult and challenging. It's a psychology, it's a craft, like it's a whole new world. And my training, like I have the best coaches in the world. I'm just so blessed to be here and they're really like paying attention to me, allowing me to be creative with my style. I think my style is very different than anything the WWE has seen before. And I'm going to show that very soon. But the training's hard. It's like a fight camp nonstop. On top of that, we have the shows. We travel on the weekends. The hair and makeup constantly. Jim, I was used to an MMA going the whole week with a bun up my head, scratches all over my face. But here we're training as harder. And at the same time, I have to look pretty. I have to be in beautiful outfits. I have to be an entertainer. So this is really challenging me to, Valerie, this is who you are since you're young, that you tried to be an MMA. And now is the time to show that, especially with promos and developing my character. Really, it's a lot of psychology and me being creative and just putting my touch into things.
Well, no Don Jardine alerts here, Valerie, but without giving anything too much away, have you been working on a finisher?
I have. I have like 4 ideas, but something hasn't stuck with me yet. I need to keep trying and figuring out what it might be. Do you have an idea, Jim?
Oh my goodness. You know what? I'll message you, Valerie. I'll message you. Because we got to incorporate that Lola Vice name, obviously, into the finisher. So it's a combination thing. It's coming up with a cool move and then a cool name for it as well. It's so much fun though, Val, because it's so much that goes, whether it's the name, the ring gear, obviously the wrestling, but there's so much more that goes into it. And it is like you were mentioning it. It is a 24/7 job too. But if you love it and have fun with it, it could be so much fun.
Yeah, I'm truly living my dream right now. And I know that I'm not on TV yet. I'm not in the main roster yet, but I am really living my dream. And I'm proving to myself I'm that entertainer I know I was born to be. And I'm learning a lot. I'm learning about production. I'm learning about the cameras. I'm learning about wrestling. I'm learning about entertaining. And, if I could connect with young Latinas around the world and show them that we can make it. I'm first generation American. I come from nothing. I think that is my message to the world. And it's also a lot of pressure because the way I'm portrayed in there, is the way I'm going to touch an audience. So I'm just making sure when I do it and when I do debut, I'm going to do it right.
So important. You mentioned camera angles, and also, Val, of course, now you're learning working the crowd, because not every crowd's the same. It's such an interesting dynamic. And I'm glad you mentioned about patience, because I know you are like 180% into everything and let's go, let's go, let's go. But a lot of this business is patience and just having to go through the process and all. And I know that's a challenge. That is a challenge for you.
I just think about it like this, like all the passion and love that I have for fighting, which I will forever have, I'm also putting it into this because at the end of the day, it's a real fight. To me, I take every time I'm in the WWE ring as a real fight. So I'm having patience. I'm getting better every single day. I'm adding my touch and I'm making sure that I am known for being the hardest working person in here because I have nobody's handing anything to me. Like I am doing everything you do from the bottom in NXT because one day when I do make it very big, I want people to know that I went through this process. I went from MMA having my platform, being in Bellator to back to having to build myself in a whole new company. And one thing I've been telling myself is that I'm doing this fearless, like no fear. I can't have any fear. Like every day I come into this facility, it's to get better, it's to show who I am and to show how hungry I am for this because I've dedicated my whole life to showing the world who I am, showing the martial artist I am. And now I get to do it in a ring almost every Tuesday when I get the chance on TV and all over the world on pay-per-views. It's a dream come true. This is an opportunity that I'm blessed to have at 24 years old. And I just know when I get more experience, when I know more what I'm doing, I'm just going to be unstoppable.
Well, the Coconut Loop, the Citrus Circus, and the Citrus Circuit in Florida continues with NXT in Fort Pierce, the Havre L. Fenn Center on Friday, December 16th. We're hoping maybe we'll get to see Lola Vice in action. The powers that be. I'm going to message it out. I'm going to send all the messages to them. They may not read them, Val, but I'm going to send them to them. Hopefully we get you on that card. But hey, what you did in that match in Orlando was a 6-person tag match. And I know you like to showcase very well. You're a perfectionist to that degree. And not everything can be perfect, Val. That's another lesson that you just have to go with, especially in something like this. When you look back at that match, did you watch the match over? Did you get advice about it? What were your thoughts? It was your first time really in there in front of a live crowd.
I was so proud of myself because that was my first match. And like everything went well in the match. I felt comfortable. I was animated. I was connecting with the crowd. I'm proud of myself for going out there and being fearless in a new industry that's not a fight that I have. Truly, I'm still green. Like I still really don't know what I'm doing, and I probably won't for the next 10 years because this is a business where you're constantly learning and getting better. But I saw it and I am a perfectionist. I'm always mad at myself, but this time, like, wow, Valerie, like you had fun. You looked comfortable. That was your first match in Orlando. It was just great. I had my family there. My dad came. My sisters came. And it was like my first amateur fight 5 years ago all over again. It's just weird how life comes full circle, but I know that as long as I keep working as hard as I did in my amateurs and MMA, in my NXT career, I'm gonna make it to the top.
And that's true. She has that desire and the work ethic, and that'll get her through. Plus, She's very active on social media, one of the most active people around. She's always providing content. Very cool. Just a whole assortment of things that'll go there and all. And we'll wrap it up here with this because social media is so important to you. Has that, how do you incorporate that now as an NXT superstar? Because it's a little different when it's Val or it's a Bellator fighter, and now you're an NXT superstar trying to get involved with that with social media.
So with my social media, it's been challenging this past year because realistically, I'm not fighting, I'm not wrestling yet, right? So it's like really like, what do I put out there? But I'm trying to show the world my transition, right? And I want my fans to be patient with me because right now my mind is so focused in my work and my training and my promos and my character that really I've kind of like stepped back from the social media and just been a little bit like more to myself because I know that the work that I'm putting in sooner or later, like I'm gonna have so much content to post. You're gonna see me wrestle every Tuesday. You're gonna see me everywhere you look. I promise. But right now, I'm just really focused in becoming the best superstar I could be so that they will think I'm ready, so I could get on TV.
I want to thank you as always for the time, and I want everybody to know 2023, get ready for Lola Vice.
2023, Lola Vice takes over NXT. Hopefully Lola Vice makes a huge jump, but in 2023, the world's going to see who I truly am as a superstar. Thank you so much, Jim, for having me.